Hey guys, it's Mathel here. Today I've got a build update video from a build that was actually probably one of my favorite and quite successful before the expansion to something probably even better post-expansion, just a bit different. So to start things off, does anyone remember the skill Groundslam? No? Yeah, me neither. Fuck it. And that's because ever since Ice Crash was introduced into the game, um, that kinda makes my memory just a bit hazy, right? Yeah. Basically, Ice Crash is everything Ground Slam is, only more. Has a complete directional AoE, just kills things faster because of that, has a much higher base damage. The only real difference is Ground Slam has a bit more stun, yawn, and it's more fizz based rather than what Ice Crash does, which is split your damage into fizz and cold. As you can see, we've got Hatred, Herald of Ash, Herald of Ice, and our tooltip at the moment is 89k. But the important thing we're looking at is the fizz damage. It's still pretty decent for a crit character. That's still a lot of fizz, but our fire and our cold is absolutely huge. So this lets us actually like freeze things quite efficiently as well as burn them for some amount of damage. No one really cares. It's mostly about the freeze and the DPS. So before we go any further, we'll show off some gameplay by jumping into just some 77 rolled Necro. This is of course on standard where I've got most of my gear. Just jump in, show some gameplay, and show exactly how the character works, which is a very fast and efficient playstyle. I don't have capped resist just because I put a whole bunch of random gear on for the most part. And 89k tooltip at the moment in a 6 link with Ice Crash, Melee Fizz, increased area, Wed, faster attacks, and added fire. You can replace added fire for, let's say, Life Leech if you really want to leech a bit more, be a bit more safe, but who really has time for that? It's all about the DPS. So we can use Blood Rage, not a big deal. Got plenty of life regen to sustain, but on top of that we actually have quite a lot of life leech from the Dresso chest, from certain passives, from Blood Rage. Even without going too far out of our way, we have plenty of leech. So you can see we sustain our power charges and our frenzy pretty much all the time, for the most part. There goes an exile. So even with uncapped resists, it doesn't really matter because my resists are usually covered just by my 3 flasks. I almost always will have them up if I want them up. You can also chain Vile Haste if you really want. Chances are it's gonna be up by the next time. Yeah, definitely going up by the next time. My golem's a bit low level, so he dies every now and again. I'll show off the tooltip in just a second. So this is buffs without flasks, 126k. Buffs and flasks, 188k. Buffs, flasks, and Vile Haste I think is 200k. But for bosses we can go into Conk Effect mode, which ups the DPS quite substantially once again. And if you really want to play this, you know, to the full extent that it can be, then by all means wear the Abyssus. Because that's fine and all, that DPS right there, but it's not Abyssus DPS. There goes Mervo. Pretty quick, pretty easy. So just as it is, 92k DPS right now, that's with Blood Rage up as well. 89k. You put on Conk Effect, we shoot up to 141, which is just a tooltip that shouldn't exist. And you can actually play with Abyssus pretty effectively. You kill things before anything touches you, so it doesn't really matter. Reflect itself isn't too big a deal either. We've got some good evasion and dodge. But if you really want to be super safe to Reflect, there's your Vile Pact. Grab it, use Life Leech, go ham. It's fine. The build's pretty flexible at this point. I'll leave it up to you guys to customize it how you want. You can get more life if you want. You can optimize jewels for life and all that. Or you can just get more damage. That's all pretty flexible. The main thing is Assault Taker. I think this is one of the best uses of Assault Taker right now. for this type of build, and a pretty heavy Fizz Scepter. I got this one a long time ago now, and it's probably going to be really hard to beat. So let's check out our tooltip with the Abyssus. We actually have to put on Hatred somewhere. Right there. As well as that, Herald of Ash. Oh, wait, not there. And Herald of Ash. So that's that. That's that. You got 220k with Conk Effect. I mean, we can go absurd. 310. With Vile Haste, it goes up to 400k. That's some tooltip if you want the tooltip. And trust me, it works. Also, Conk Effect has the added bonus of making our skills super cute. So now let's talk a bit more about the setup itself. At the moment I kind of prefer to use a Rat's Nest. Just a bit more crit, some good evasion as well as attack speed. So it kind of just enhances the speed of the build's playstyle, whereas Abyssus just gives you raw damage, and I'd probably use it on a weaker geared character personally, but on the top tier character, Rat's Nest I think is just fine. You want a big heavy scepter. You can go Doriani's Mace, that's just fine, but you'll be a bit low on crit, but the DPS should still be pretty insane, especially since a lot of your damage is going to be elemental. Soul Taker is the best option. If you can't get a Soul Taker, I would go Blood Magic and probably some other weird offhand. Gonna be kind of up to you. You could go a good Golden Chris, something like that, with Crit Multi, Life Leech, or you can go a Death's Hand, or you can go some other things. Maligaros would be the best ones. These are Legacy. You could go some other gloves, Face Breakers, that wouldn't be too bad. Or just some rares, I suppose. Boots, get some life, get some resist. You don't need movement speed. You're doing the leaping everywhere pretty quickly, pretty efficiently. Nice big necklace. Doesn't get much better than this. A lot more life would be nice. But yeah, crit multi, fizz, stats, it's all good stuff. Once again, you're going to need accuracy on a piece somewhere. If not, more than one piece. But right now I have accuracy only on one item, that's 350 right here, and I'm at 86%. So ideally I'd like to get accuracy on another ring. I don't even need this ring anymore. It's kind of average, I just put it on, whatever. So accuracy on both rings would be delicious. In a perfect world. Dures's Defiance, I think that's probably going to be the best choice for this build. You get good armor, you get good evasion, you use both of them. Life, that's great. Dodge, why not? Fizz Life Leech, that's pretty amazing. And then on top of all of that, you get endurance charges all the time. And you gain onslaught whenever you lose them. So really, if you want, you could combo this with Cast when Damage Taken and Immortal Coil and be a bit safer and tankier. And I'd recommend doing that if you can find the slots. Vile Haste, Vile Grace attached to increased duration, that'll let you keep up both of them pretty much all the time if you zoom through maps fast enough. And that's kind of all there is to it, really. Leap Slam, faster attacks, and Fortify, that makes you substantially tankier, since every time you try and kill something, you're jumping straight into the middle of it. So Leap Slam's pretty good in that sense to keep Fortify up. Fortify will be up almost all of the time if you try to keep it up. Taste of Hate, I would highly recommend it. It's expensive, it's worth it, especially for this build. And in its Series Flask, gives you lots of extra fizz and elemental damage turned into chaos, so it's going to end up being pretty damn worthwhile. A belt. A rustic would be better, but whatever. Lots of life, wed's good, resists are good. It's kind of hard to cap resist on this character unless you don't take full DPS slots, because as you can see, 54, 57, 49, but for the most part I'm always using my flasks, so it's capped anyway. So lastly, I'll leave you guys with a bit more gameplay action, but before I go, you may ask, Athel, you have like 12 to the power of 19 DPS and only 4.5k life. Is this build hardcore viable? Mate, that is a great question.